Okay, this question is, what are the three most inspirational movies you have seen and why? Okay, number one by far is Ikiru, which is a Japanese movie by Akira Kurosawa, I think. Yeah, it's um, it's about a guy who works for a bureaucracy, and he gets cancer. And he sort of suddenly, well, first he was given 6 months to live. And he sort of suddenly doesn't know what his life was about. So he sort of has a mental reaction to that. And he was like, what have I been doing with my life? All I've been doing is coming to work every day and doing nothing in a bureaucracy. So the entire movie, well, most of the movie is his search for something to do with the remaining few months of his life that will justify his life. And he goes through a bunch of things like partying and a lot of things you'd expect someone to do when they're um, almost dead, like romance. And um, he finds all of them one by one unsatisfying. And even talking to his son, he finds that unsatisfying because they're plotting to steal his money when he dies or something, but they don't know he has cancer. He hasn't told them. And eventually, at the end, he dies. At the point when he dies in the movie, they don't tell you how he spent his final few days. But then there's a funeral, and in the funeral, all the people, his co-workers and family, and all the people who knew him are talking about him, and talking about how strange it was that he acted so differently in the last few months, and they wondered if he actually knew he had cancer. None of them knew. And and eventually it's revealed that the last thing he did is through his bureaucracy work, which he worked for some department of something, but he managed to get a park built by going through a bunch of hoops and going through a lot of difficulties and even facing against the mafia. And he was like very single-minded, and he was going to do that one thing before he died. And he created a park, and the last scene of the movie is him swinging in the park when it's snowing and singing. So it's sort of like, the movie is sort of inspirational. I like sort of movies that time limit you and say, do that, you have this amount of days before you die, because then it makes people think more about their life. The phone is ringing, but someone else will get it. There's a lot of people here. And it's sort of inspirational because it makes you think yourself about what you're doing right now. Is it worth? Is it the type of thing that you really want to have done as your life? Okay, that's the first one, Ikiru. Ikiru. Okay, the next two movies will be harder because there's a lot of movies I like, but that's the only movie I find inspirational. So let me think of some other inspirational movies. Groundhog Day is also good. It's a comedy, but it has a similar idea of finding what's the best way to live and how you would, like in that movie, they repeat the same day over and over, and a guy is trapped in the Groundhog Day. So he eventually has to try a bunch of different things to get out of it. He can't get out of it, so he tries living in different ways. And when he reaches the right way to live, or the way that he really satisfies him as the way he should live, then he escapes the infinite repetition. So that's a good second inspirational movie. Third, I don't actually watch that many movies. Well, okay, a third is Bloodsport by Jean-Claude Van Damme, which it's sort of just a martial arts movie where he takes part in a tournament called the Kumite, and he fights his way up to the top and wins. Which you wouldn't think that's inspirational because it's just a martial arts movie, but it sort of inspires me to exercise whenever I see it. So in that sense, it's inspirational. Okay, that's all. I guess that answered that. Okay, bye.